Welcome back to another episode of diddyknowsball. And today, it's been a lot on my mind, man. Um, I'm a big draft guy, and this was a really special class in my opinion. I think you got three potential superstars in Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller. Got potential All NBA, All Stars, and Cam Whitmore, all defensive team type guys, and Jarris Walker. Long story short, I think this is a special draft class. Now, one thing I didn't like about this draft, I felt like everybody picked out a place. Like, it was a lot of whiffs in this draft, in my opinion. And today we're going to go through ranking young cores, Brandon Miller's comments on Jordan, and he still ended up in Hornets, draft grades, missed opportunities, and the core around Victor Wembanyama. Um, we did a live reaction to the draft on Thursday, and it was kind of long winded. I think that most players in this draft didn't need a interview. No offense, but they could just spit it up. So let's just jump right into it. I'm gonna start with my trade grades. I think a lot of teams could have did way better. Um, I'm just gonna start with my trade grades. I'm gonna share this with y'all. See, Atlanta Hawks, I gave them a C. Um, I think Atlanta is in an interesting spot. I done heard they just they're inquiring about Pascal Siakam right now. Um, I like DeJounte Murray. I like Trey Young. I like Onyeka Okongwu. I like Jalen Johnson, Kobe Buffkin they just brought in. Um, but I don't know what's going on with Atlanta. I think it was more people available at their pick. They could have took a swing. They could have took a swing on Cam Whitmore. That's gonna be the cornerstone of this conversation today. Uh, Cam Whitmore, how many people passed on him? When Cam Whitmore came out the draft, when Cam Whitmore came out of high school, I watched him in McDonald's All American Game, Jordan Brand Classic. I watched him play for the Olympic team, the U18, 19 team. He played with Anthony Black. And I thought Cam Whitmore is just special. Like, think of Anthony Edwards' powerful explosion in Miles Bridges' body with a Jimmy Butler level competitiveness. That's why I thought of Cam Whitmore. I thought he was a top prospect in college basketball until Brandon Miller just emerged and Cam Whitmore got hurt anyway. But I feel like a lot of people passed on Cam Whitmore that shouldn't have, and I think Atlanta was one of those teams. If you look at Atlanta, you look at their wing position. They got Sadiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin. None of those dudes is keeping me from drafting a talent like Cam Whitmore. And I think you could have passed on Kobe Buffkin. I understand people was comparing him to Derek White, but I just would have liked Atlanta to swing for Cam Whitmore right there, just in case, But that's neither here nor there. Muhammad Guy, Atlanta picked up the big from Washington State. He's very bouncy. He got shooting potential. He's probably a couple years away, but that's okay because their front court is loaded. So I did like that pick, even though I don't know if he's going to play for them because, like I said, they got Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, John Collins, Clint Capella. That front court is very loaded, but he will take a couple years anyway. So to sit him behind them guys is cool. And he provides insurance for them, but I'm gonna give them a C. I think Atlanta could have did better, but it is what it is. It's a C. Boston Celtics, they drafted Jordan Walsh. Um, I think when you lose a guy like Marcus Smart, like that intensity, that team first mentality, it has to be replaced. I think Jordan Walsh is a plug and play guy. You can put him in the playoff setting right now, and he can guard 1 through 4, 1 through 3, probably in the NBA 1 through 3 or 2 and 3s. But I think Jordan Walsh, you can play him right now, and he'll be ready to contribute. He plays hard, shit like that. I'm giving them a B. Brooklyn Nets, they got no. See, Brooklyn Nets, that's very interesting what they did. Brooklyn Nets got Noah Clowney, Derek Whitehead, and Jalen Wilson. I think Noah Clowney and Derek Whitehead was both high upside picks, and Jalen Wilson was a production pick. I can easily see Derek Whitehead emerging as a guy for them, especially next to Mikal Bridges. I think Derek Whitehead is an underrated playmaker, underrated three-level scorer. He's great in transition. He rebounds. He hustles. He just plays the right way. He's coming out of Montverde. He's played with a lot of stars. He's played off stars. He's played as a number one guy. I think he's going to come in and he's going to surprise some people because people forget he's a top 10 talent. He's one of the best players, one of the youngest players coming out there, 2022 high school class. And I think he's just a very high upside pick. Noah Clowney, you could project him as a switchable big. That could be also space the floor and pick and pop situations. You could say at his highest, it could be like that 16 point per game, Chris Bosh type of role. So I like that. I like that for Noah Clowney. Jalen Wilson out of Kansas. He's a guy that you bring him in and just see what he can do. He's a big body. He's played in a lot of intense situations, played a lot of tough games, meaningful games at Kansas. So you just bring him in. I think I gave the Brooklyn Nets possibly A. Yeah, I gave them an A. Now we get to the Charlotte Hornets. They picked Brandon Miller, Nick Smith Jr., and Amari Bailey. I really like what the Charlotte Hornets did, and hey, if you're not paying attention to basketball, you're not understanding what the Hornets could potentially have. If Miles Bridges come back off of whatever the hell he had going on, if LaMelo Ball can come back from injury, you still got PJ Washington, Mark Williams. Just think about this, y'all. A lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Mark Williams, and Nick Smith Jr. coming off the bench. I think the Charlotte Hornets did a really good job. I'm gonna give them B because it was they did a good job. I would give them a B. I probably could upgrade that to an A. Chicago Bulls got Julian Phillips. I like Julian Phillips. He's supposed to be like a Trey Murphy type of guy. He didn't have the greatest season at Tennessee, but I like that pick for where they got him. I like what the Bulls did. That's a B plus. Imani Bates, I give that a B for Cleveland. I think you lack shooting at that small forward position. He provides shooting. So what I'm saying? I like that swing. Dallas Mavericks, I give them an A. Derek Lively and Oliver Maxence Prosper. I don't know what the fuck I said price for, but I think with the Mavericks, I'm a Mavericks fan. They addressed a lot of defense, so I like those picks, especially Derek Lively, and he could be people. I was hearing people say, "Oh, you bringing in another Dwight Powell?" Hey, if Derek Lively is a 7'1" Dwight Powell that can potentially stretch the floor and pass, I'll take that. I think Derek Lively was the best defensive big in his draft class. He's the number one player in 2022 coming out of high school, the number one player. And I think the Mavericks taking him, I think that's just perfect. He's a team first guy. He low maintenance. I like that a lot. And then you got Maxine Prosper, who you expect to eventually replace Dorian Finney-Smith. I like that pick. I gave the Dallas Mavericks an A. Denver Nuggets, they picked Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett. Julian Strawther going in the first round. I'm not sure. They probably could have got better value there, but I feel it. Julian Strawther coming out of Gonzaga. He played with Drew Timmy. So playing off of him, Julian Strawther will probably come in right away and know how to play off Jokic, get his shots, and be a solid role player for Denver Nuggets going forward. Even though they probably did stretch and get him a little high. But Jalen Pickett, not too familiar with him out of Penn State, but you probably looking for him to eventually replace the Bruce Brown role. That's one thing I like about the Nuggets when they draft, that they replace guys that they think they're going to lose, or they just replace guys that can fit in their system. So I still give them a C plus because I think it was better guys that could have got at both picks. But you know, Detroit Pistons, they selected Osar Thompson with the fifth pick. They got Marcus Sasser in the trade, and they drafted James Nagy. I think the Pistons are the second worst team in the league when it comes to roster construction and young talent, right behind the Wizards. Um, I like Asar Thompson. I'm not sure I like him for the Detroit Pistons. I think they could have traded down and got a lot more value and got a lot more needs to fill. I think the Detroit Pistons have doubled down and got a lot of players that have overlapping skill sets at pretty much every position. So I gave them a D. I'm not gonna lie. Golden State Warriors, Brandon Podziemski and Trace Jackson Davis. Brandon Podziemski, he was a draft riser because what he did in the combine scrimmages. I like him. He's a catch and shoot threat. He can just score the ball. He's kind of Tyler Hero-ish in a sense. Like he's a get a bucket guy. He's not gonna give you too much on defense. Solid pick, 6'5". Trey Jackson Davis is the pick that I really like for Golden State. He provides you a little bit more size and athleticism and wingspan. He's like 6'9" with a 7'2" wingspan, but he still can get up and down the court. He's not a traditional big, but he's still kind of big enough, and he's seasoned. He can come in and play right away. I think Trace Jackson Davis is making the Golden State Warriors roster like pretty quickly. But I still get him a C plus because I think they could have got they could have swung on Cam Whitmore as well. That's gonna be the theme of this video of this live stream. People that could have swung on Cam Whitmore, but I give Golden State a C plus. Houston Rockets, they got Amin Thompson and Cam Whitmore, and it's crazy because I like Amin Thompson and I like Cam Whitmore. I think both of them have star potential, but I don't like neither one of them for the Rockets. I think the Rockets could have used Anthony Black. He's a connector piece. He's a great defender. He's a playmaker. He's good in transition. He provides a lot of effort. And he's just a connector piece. And I felt like he would have been better for the Rockets than Amin Thompson, even though they're both wing guard type of hybrids. I just like Anthony Black for their culture, and you could have played Anthony Black with KPJ and Jalen Green, no problem. I don't think Amin has the intangibles that Anthony Black possesses. That could just be me. But that's just what I think. Um, I give the Houston Rockets a B. Indiana Pacers, they got Jarris Walker, Ben Shepherd, Isaiah Wong. Um, I kind of like the Pacers roster. You got your cornerstones and Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Miles Turner, but I think Miles Turner, he's a top 5 center just based off his skill set and what he can actually do on the court. Um, if they keep him going forward, I wouldn't mind it. I think they have one of the most intriguing front courts in the NBA with Turner, with Jalen Smith, with Isaiah Jackson. They all bring unique qualities. Isaiah Jackson, he can run the floor, he can guard on the perimeter, good in the passing lanes, block shots, lob threat. Jalen Smith, he can stretch the floor a little bit. Didn't have the best shooting year last year, but I think he can stretch the floor. He can shoot, and he can block shots as well. So I like the Indiana bringing in Jarris Walker. He's a combo forward. I hope they don't think Jarris Walker could play small forward because I don't think he can. It's just something about him that just makes him strictly a power forward in my mind, or a small ball five. Ben Shepherd, he looks like a prototypical 3-and-D wing. Isaiah Wong, I really like Isaiah Wong. He's one of my favorite second round guys. He had a big, heavy scoring load at Miami. He's a combo guard, like in the vein of a CJ McCollum to me, probably a bargain CJ McCollum, but I really like Isaiah Wong. So I give Indiana Pacers a B plus. The Clippers, they got Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller, two wings with upside and plug and play potential. So I give the Clippers a B plus for where they got those guys. Los Angeles Lakers, I give them an A minus for getting Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think Jalen Hood-Schifino could have been possibly a top 10 pick. He was getting comps to Spencer Dinwiddie, but I think he plays a little bit more controlled than that. I think he can be your actual lead point guard, and he can defend, play make, hit the midi. I think his shooting touch is growing. I just like everything that Jalen Hood-Schifino brings to the game, so I give the Lakers A minus. Memphis Grizzlies, they got Gigi Jackson and Tariq Bieberovic. Um, Memphis just took a swing pick on Gigi Jackson. Not bad, but yeah, I give it a C plus. Miami Heat, they drafted Jaime Jaquez. I give them a B minus. Cause I love Jaquez. I love that he fits Heat culture to a T. But do I necessarily think Jaime Jaquez was the best player available? No, I don't. The Miami Heat was another Cam Whitmore swing team that I thought was going to swing on the talent of Cam Whitmore, and adding a guy like that who has alpha dog mentality to the Heat culture. I thought that would have been something, but I guess they had other plans, and Jaime Jaquez fits them. So I give them a B minus, but I feel like they could have did better. Milwaukee Bucks, they got two wings. Um, that can't necessarily shoot, but I think Chris Livingston has some upside and he's flash shooting potential. Andre Jackson is a connector piece, just fresh off a national championship with UConn. So he's plug and play, a little older, but you surround him with shooters, and I really like those guys. So I give Milwaukee's a B. Minnesota Timberwolves, they did what they could with where they was getting their players. They got Leonard Miller and Jalen Clark, both in the second round. Um, I like both these guys, but you already have Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, two defensive stalwarts in those positions. But just adding talent to your defensive talent to your team, I can't be mad at too much, but you get a C plus because I just feel like they didn't address no weaknesses. They only added to their strengths. The New Orleans Pelicans added Jordan Hawkins. He's a movement shooter. Just think of him as a guy that you can plug and play into the Golden State system, run around screens, quick release, uh, hit you in the eye, dead eye shooter. Uh, but I don't see where the minutes go come from in New Orleans. But he will eventually be a good trade piece if they ever want to go that route, or if they make a trade with Zion or somebody like that. He's a good piece. So I give them a B. The Knicks didn't have a pick, so Oklahoma City, they got Casey Wallace and Keontae Johnson. Um, I don't know why Oklahoma City is not getting a true big, especially since I think the league is going back big. I like Case and Wallace. I think he's going to be a hell of a defender. I think he could be a third option if he was sent somewhere where he could flourish. I don't necessarily like the fit for him. I don't know where his opportunity go come from, but I do think he's a good player. Uh, Keontae Johnson out of Kansas State, like him, but it's like they're already loaded at these positions, so I give him a C plus. Orlando Magic, Anthony Black, Jet Howard. This was a team that had two lottery picks. They had 6 and 11. I thought they could have got Anthony Black and Case and Wallace. They could have got Anthony Black and Jordan Hawkins. They could have got Anthony Black and Grady Dick. I'm not necessarily, I like Jet Howard, but as high as they went to get him, I'm not sure. Um, but overall, they both were solid players. They're both good players in my mind. And I both think they're going to be productive, but I give them a B. 76ers didn't have a pick. Phoenix Suns, they got Tumani Kamar. He's a guy that looks like he has a intriguing skill set as a big. I've seen him knock down shots, run the floor a little bit. So I give that a B for what they got on. Portland Trailblazers, I give them an A. They got Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, and Ryan Rupert out of France. I feel like they got a star of the future in Scoot. They got a solid rotational big or starting big in Chris Murray at the power forward position. They got Ryan Rupert, a hell of a defensive guy. I was seeing some people trying to compare him to Mikal Bridges. So I give they grade an A, and they got the guy from Draft Express over there, so he know how to draft. Sacramento Kings, they got Kobe Jones. Um, he's a combo guard. Uh, I heard comparisons to Malcolm Brogdon. I think Kobe Jones is going to really make some noise, but we'll have to eventually see. So I give Sacramento a B minus on that. San Antonio Spurs got Victor Wembanyama and City Sissoko. Victor Wembanyama, of course, he's supposed to be the next great prospect since LeBron James. So, and then you add a Frenchman in City Sissoko, who's a wing, but he has a game that's just going to contribute to winning, in my opinion. So I like that pick. I give him an A. Toronto Raptors got great Dick. I thought he was better players available, but he is a good shooter. But it was better players available, so I get him a C plus. Utah Jazz, they get an A minus. They could have got an A plus if they would have got Cam Whitmore, another Cam Whitmore team that I feel like they could have taken a swung on them. But they got Taylor Hendricks, Keontae George, Bryce Sensabaugh. I really like Keontae George. I feel like he has Jamal Murray potential. I seen him in high school at IMG Academy. He's having 40-point games. He's hitting multiple game winners. He's a clutch time player. He just has the it factor. So I like them getting Keontae Taylor Hendricks. He's a Jeremy Grant type player in my mind. Bryce Sensabaugh, he's a get a bucket guy. He has scary medical, so we see how they go. I give Utah A minus. Washington Wizards, they went and got Bilal Koulibaly, who if he would have came out in 2024, he probably would have went where he went. He'd been a top 5, top 10 pick. He's a wing, kind of in the mode of a Trevor Ariza. I feel like he's gonna play some solid minutes next to Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole. Um, they also got Tristan Vukovic, a guy who was killing the combine, who I didn't know who he was. So I give the Washington Wizards a B plus. And this is basically um my grades for every team. Now, today, I'm gonna be going in depth about young cores and ranking young cores as after the draft. Um, I'm gonna start from 10 and I'm gonna go all the way to 1. 10, the Detroit Pistons, and the notable players is Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, James Wiseman, Isaiah Stewart. I'm not the biggest fan of Detroit. I don't think Cade is that good. I don't think Jaden Ivey's that good necessarily. They got a lot of bigs in their front court with overlapping skill sets. They got a lot of guards that can't shoot. Um, their wings is in. Asar Thompson might be something, but he won't have the spacing. Cade won't have. There's no spacing. There's no bigs with versatility. I mean, Isaiah Stewart has flashed, can shoot a little bit, but I think Detroit, they got pieces. They got some pieces, but I don't know how they fit together. And I'm not sure how good Cade can be. Could he be a potential superstar? I'm not sure. Jaden Ivey, will he become a better finisher at the basket? He can get there, but can he finish? We'll see on that. Um, so this is why I got Detroit 10. At 9, we got the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets are in an interesting position. They drafted Amin Thompson when I feel like they could have went Anthony Black. I really like Anthony Black on this Houston Rockets team. I don't know why, but it's just what I like. You still got Jalen Green. You still got Kevin Porter Jr. Amin Thompson. He's a bigger point guard, so you can put him out there with Jalen Green and KPJ and let him guard the small forward. Um, Hopefully he can get Jabari Smith the ball as a shooter, throw the ball into Alperen Sengun, Kenyon Martin Jr. on lobs. I think Tyree Easton has the potential to be an all defensive player. So I really do like some of the pieces that the Rockets have, but I don't necessarily know how they'll fit. I don't know if all these guys will be there. I don't know the direction that the Rockets are going, but they do have pieces, so I got them at 9. At 8, I got the Charlotte Hornets. The notable players under 25: LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Mark Williams, Nick Smith Jr. I really like what the Hornets are doing. I think the Hornets are a team that has become underrated in a sense because they haven't been healthy. Miles Bridges has been going through what he's been going through off the court. But if you look at the pieces that the Hornets do have, this team's very intriguing. A lineup of LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Mark Williams. That is one of the more versatile young core starting lineups in the league. And then you hope Brandon Miller can solve the one-on-one creation problem that the Hornets have without LaMelo Ball on the court. Miles Bridges come back. Hopefully he can get back to his 20-point per game self. Mark Williams, I feel like he could be one of the better bigs in the league, like a Clint Capella type of player. PJ Washington, I feel like he can be a versatile defender and he can hit the three. And I just really like getting Nick Smith for Terry Rozier insurance, Brandon Miller for Gordon Hayward insurance. I like the core for the Charlotte Hornets. I got them at 8. At 7, I got the Timberwolves. See, now we finna start getting into where it's just stars, superstars, potentially. They're just carrying the young cores. Timberwolves, notable players under 25. You got Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Nas Reed, Leonard Miller, Jalen Noel. This is strictly based off Anthony Edwards and what he can be. Jaden McDaniels, what he can be on the defensive end. Nas Reed, what he can be as an impact big, off the bench, scoring big. So that's pretty much why I got the Timberwolves at 7 because of Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Nas Reed. I love those 3. And Leonard Miller got some upside. And you kind of like what you see from Noel at times. So I felt good putting the Timberwolves here at 7. At 6 is another young core that's being carried by the superstar, the Dallas Mavericks. Notable players under 25, of course, is Luka Doncic, Derek Lively II, Oliver Maxence Prosper, Jaden Hardy, and Josh Green. Now I look at it, all these guys look really good. Look like they could be really good next to Luka as role players and guys that could potentially become something. I think Derek Lively is one of the more underrated players. He's not getting talked about to what he can be offensively and what he already is defensively. I watched him in high school hit threes. I watched him in high school throw cross court passes to the corner. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Derek Lively have flashes of being very, very good on the offensive end. And we know what he brings on the defensive end. I think he's one of the better defensive centers in all the country when he was at Duke. So I really like him. I think Jaden Hardy still has a lot of scoring potential in this league. I think Josh Green as a connector piece still could be really good. Maxine Price could be Dorian Finney. I keep saying Price. Prosper. I feel like he'd be Dorian Finney-Smith replacement eventually. So I like what the Mavericks done in terms of role players, and then Luka Doncic takes it over the top. So I got the Mavericks 6. At 5, I got the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, Onyeka Okongwu, Adrian Griffin, Kobe Buckins, Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins are all under 25. And, of course, Trae carries that. I think Onyeka Okongwu is one of the more important bigs in the league if he was ever on the trade market. I think Jalen Johnson has a lot of upside when it comes to he's a big that can run the floor, catch lobs, shooting potential, possibly more on ball dribbling potential. I think AJ Griffin has shown he could be one of the better shooters in the league. Cody Buffett was getting comparisons to Derek White coming out. So I like him. I like Atlanta. Now they still possibly can make some trades, but the young pieces they have, I had to put them there. The Spurs. I got the Spurs at 4, strictly off Wembayama. But it's not just Wembayama with the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembayama is the focal point of the young core, but they've built a masterful group of role players in San Antonio. I feel like Devin Vassell could be one of the better shooters, movement shooters in the league at the shooting guard position. I think Kelly Johnson is very solid as a scorer and as small forward. I think Jeremy Sohan is the do-it-all Swiss Army knife at power forward, guard multiple positions, playmaker a little bit. I like Malachi Branham as a potential 6-man of the year type of candidate. We'll see what we can get from Blake Wesley. I really like what the Spurs have built. They just need to continue to add. But just off Vic alone, they're a top 5 young core, and they actually have some pieces next to them. So I got the Spurs at 4. At 3, the New Orleans Pelicans. I know it's a lot of controversy in New Orleans right now, especially around Zion. We know the injury concerns with Zion and Ingram, that they don't play enough. But if you look at the guys they got under 25, you got Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy III, Jordan Hawkins, Dyson Daniels, Jose Alvarado, and it's even some guys I left out. Dyson Daniels, I think I said his name, but it's a lot of dudes in the Pelicans that's under 25 that done play major minutes in playoff games, playing games. And if they could stay healthy, man, sky's the limit for the Pelicans. They were the top 3 seed when Zion was healthy. Let's not forget that. So I got them at number 3. At number 2, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. The notable players under 25. You got SGA, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, Terrence Mann, and Cason Wallace. This team is a very interesting team, but we've seen they can make runs. They play good together. SGA, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Lou Dort, they carry this young core. I don't like the fact that Oklahoma City don't have a big, but SGA could potentially be an MVP candidate. Josh Giddey is looking like one of the best passers in the league. Jalen Williams, hey, we never know what Jalen Williams could end up being. Jalen Williams could possibly be a 20-point per game scorer next year and going forward. Lou Dort, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. We still have to see what we get from Chet, but I like putting Oklahoma City right here at 2. And number 1, this might shock a lot of people, but I don't care. Number 1 in the young core rankings, according to diddyknowsball, I have the Orlando Magic. The notable players they have under 25: Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Jett Howard. The reason why I have the Orlando Magic in number 1 when it comes to my young core rankings is strictly off Paolo and Franz. I feel like this is the best duo under 25 in the league. I think Paolo has potential to be a 25 point per game guy. Franz has potential to be a 21, 22 point per game guy. I think Anthony Black brings a lot of intangibles to this team. Now you need to put spacing around those 3, but I really like them. I think Wendell Carter is a good player. Jalen Suggs is a hell of a point of attack defender. Cole Anthony could be a hell of a spark plug off the bench. I think Jett Howard could be a hell of a movement shooter, catch and shoot guy that offers some creation of his own. So I really like the Orlando Magic, and I think they're the best young core in the NBA. So that'll be it for that. Now, Brandon Miller and his Jordan comments. It's a lot of people, they be like, you never know where you'll end up. And you will never know who you talk about. You might have to work with them, work for them. I don't think Brandon Miller wanted to go to Charlotte. I don't think nobody did, especially after he was seeing Paul George as the GOAT. Michael Jordan was airballing free throws, things like that. But I think the Hornets wasn't trying to hear that. They picked him anyway. Um, Brandon Miller is the type of guy, he's going to be hated. All just strictly off what he went through at Alabama, the Jordan comments, things of that nature. But he's going to be hated coming into the league. And I think he's mentally prepared for that. I think the Charlotte Hornets have a very bright future. He came out earlier and he said that um he want to help them become relevant and change the franchise and go towards a title. Do I feel like he will make it there? I'm not sure. Do I feel like he can? Possibly. I feel like he's one of the best players in the draft. I think his upside is definitely all NBA. I think he's going to come to the league and be at least 17 points a game. But Brandon Miller, you got to watch what you say. And for you to come in, Jordan, that was just crazy, man. Yeah, that'll be it for Diddy Knows Ball. Peace.